Complete. Yeah. Take 3.
Hello, and welcome to Zen Talks, where we pause the midday hustle for a brief moment of reflection. Let's slow down, take a deep breath, and explore the depths of personal growth and well-being. I'm your host, Zen, and today as we take a pause from the busyness of our day, I invite you to join me for a quick reset. Today I want to talk about something that I believe many of us face in different seasons of life: exhaustion. Whether it's physical, mental, or emotional exhaustion, there are times when we feel worn out, burned out, and like we just can't keep going. In these moments, it can be hard to find the strength to move forward. But Isaiah 40:31 offers us a powerful reminder. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isn't that a beautiful promise? In today's episode, we're going to explore how trusting in God can renew our strength when we feel drained and how faith can sustain us during times of burnout. Let's be honest, life can be overwhelming. We're often juggling so many responsibilities: work, family, personal commitments, and it's easy to reach a point where we feel like we've got nothing left to give. I've been there myself, where I felt like I'm running on empty, trying to pour from a cup that's already dry. But this scripture, Isaiah 40:31, reminds us that we don't have to rely solely on our own strength. Those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. When we place our hope in God, He promises to lift us up, to renew us, and to give us the strength we need to keep going, even when we feel like we can't take another step. So what does it mean to hope in the Lord? For me, it's about trusting that God is in control, even when life feels overwhelming. It's about believing that He's working on our behalf, even when we can't see the full picture. And it's about leaning into His strength instead of trying to do everything on our own. When we're exhausted, it's tempting to think that we just need to push harder, to try more, to do more. But sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to surrender and trust that God will carry us through. That's where true renewal comes from, not from striving, but from resting in God's promises. Let's take a closer look at the imagery of this verse. They will soar on wings like eagles. Think about that for a moment. Eagles don't flap their wings tirelessly like smaller birds. Instead, they catch the wind and soar, effortlessly gliding through the air. That's the kind of strength God offers us. Not the kind where we're constantly straining, but the kind where we're lifted up, carried by His power. Then it goes on to say, they will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. There's something so comforting in that. It speaks to those times when we feel like we're running through life, trying to keep up with everything, or the times when we feel like we can barely walk through our day without collapsing. In both cases, God promises to sustain us. I think of this as a reminder that God meets us wherever we are, whether we're running or just trying to walk. He sees our exhaustion and He's there to renew us, to give us the strength we need to keep moving forward. Now let's talk about some practical ways to find strength in your faith during times of exhaustion and burnout. 1. Pause and surrender. The first step to renewing your strength is recognizing that you don't have to do it all on your own. Take a moment to pause and surrender whatever is weighing you down. In prayer, hand over your burdens to God and trust that He will carry them for you. Sometimes just acknowledging that you can't do it all is the most freeing thing you can do. 2. Lean into God's promises. Throughout the Bible, God reminds us again and again that He is our strength. Reflect on scriptures like Isaiah 40:31, Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and Psalms 46:1, God is our refuge and strength and an ever-present help in trouble. Meditate on these promises and let them remind you that you are not in this alone. 3. Rest in God's presence. When we're exhausted, it's easy to feel like we don't have time to rest. But true rest comes when we take time to be in God's presence, whether it's through prayer, reading scripture, or simply sitting quietly with Him. Make space for spiritual rest. As we rest in God, He renews our strength in ways we couldn't achieve on our own. 4. Take one step at a time. God doesn't ask us to have everything figured out. He simply asks us to trust Him and to take the next step. When you're feeling overwhelmed, don't focus on the entire journey ahead. Just focus on the next step. Trust that God will provide the strength you need for today. And when tomorrow comes, He'll be there to renew you again. There was a time when I was running on empty. I had so many commitments and it felt like I was trying to juggle everything all at once. I was exhausted, physically and emotionally. But one day, as I was reading Isaiah 40:31, it hit me. I didn't have to keep doing it all on my own strength. I could place my hope in God and trust that He would renew me. And when I did, I felt a weight lift. I didn't magically become less busy, but I felt more at peace. I knew that God was carrying me through and that He gave me the strength I needed to keep going. So wherever you are today, whether you're running and feeling weary or walking and feeling faint, remember this: you don't have to do it alone. God is with you, offering you His strength. Place your hope in Him and He will renew you. You'll soar like eagles, lifted by His power, and find the energy to keep moving forward. Well, before we close, let's take a moment to breathe. Reflect on where you need God's strength in your life. Surrender your exhaustion to Him and trust that He will renew you. Well, thank you for joining me today on Zen Talks. I hope this conversation has reminded you of the strength that comes from trusting in God. Remember, He's with you every step of the way, offering you renewal and rest. If you have thoughts or experiences you'd like to share, you know I'd love to hear them. Feel free to reach out. Also, if you have enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, share it with a friend, and of course, follow me on Instagram at I Am Zenja or Facebook at Zenja Bloomfield. Until next time, stay grounded, stay peaceful, and most importantly, stay Zen.